Trending, with reactions trailing the Council of State meeting held at the State House in Abuja, where the administration of President Bola Tinubu was given a vote of confidence, while former President Goodluck Jonathan and Muhammadu Buhari attended the meeting physically, while former heads of state Yakubu Gowon and Abdul Salami Abubakar joined virtually. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who has been quite vocal on policy decisions in recent times, was conspicuously missing, as well as former head of state Ibrahim Babangida. The recent protest against bad governance was on the agenda of the meeting. While speaking with journalists at the end of the meeting, the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, said that the council commended Nigerians for resisting any unconstitutional move to change government during the protest, which he described as a movement to effect the change of President Tinubu's regime.
The National Security Advisor also was on hand to present the security situation of the country, and he did inform the Council of State about the during, and post events of the last protest, which I do not call a protest, I call a movement to effect the change of regime by force, which was also resisted. And so, the council thanked Nigerians at large for resisting any unconstitutional move to change government. If anybody is not satisfied with the government, any current administration, there's always an election coming. So you wait for election and cast your vote the way you deem fit.
All right. There were a lot of takeaways from that meeting. Dele Alake here has described the End Bad Governance protest as a move to overthrow the government of President Bola. But this is not the first time we're seeing this type of, remarks when it comes to protests in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria. We only had the, EndSARS protest back in 2020. Remember that President Muhammadu Buhari actually had described it as the people who try to remove me from power. Let me take this tweet from Baron, who wrote, "Whenever the Nigerian youth protest, the Nigerian political class are always quick to target regime change. I haven't seen anything like this. Hashtag EndSARS protest was regime change. Hashtag End Bad Governance protest in Nigeria is regime change. God, I beg you." But I think for me, this is the complete fact, but I think for me it was, a commentary on that council meeting, because it's a meeting with all these heads of state that would, help to make policies. The fact that Olusegun Obasanjo was conspicuously missing for me was, a big statement, because only recently he's been criticizing policies, especially in this administration. But let me take this before I come to you. Following allegations by former President Olusegun Obasanjo that members of the National Assembly are fixing their salaries and allowances themselves, which is described as immoral and the duty of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RAMFAC. The commission on Tuesday revealed that each of the 109 senators occupying legislative seats in the Red Chamber earned the sum of 1 million naira as salary and allowances per month. Obasanjo criticized the senators last week when he hosted some members of the House of Representatives in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital.
Look at, in your own case, with all due respect, you are not supposed to fix your salary or your allowance. It's supposed to be done by the Revenue Mobilization and
Fiscal Commission. Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission.
Okay. But you decide to pay yourself the allowances that you give yourself, newspaper allowances, pound allowances, cheating allowances, to give yourself all sorts of things, with all due respect. And it's not right. It is not right. It is not right for me to be the one to determine what I pay myself. It's immoral. And then you are doing it. The Senate is doing it. And you beat your chest. And in some cases, even the executive give you what you are not entitled to. You all got 200 million naira.
Well, all right. On Sunday, the Senate had, tackled Obasanjo, saying that they only receive their funds, their salaries from RAMFAC. And, I believe the spokesperson actually even said that, these assertions are satanic. And, but RAMFAC has come up with a breakdown saying that the senators earn 1 million naira. Before I pull up the breakdown, Ayo, I would like your comment on all of the stories. Okay, on the first story, the Council of State passing a vote of confidence on the president unanimously. I was saying off air just this morning that if former President Olusegun Obasanjo were there, perhaps they wouldn't have gotten a unanimous vote of confidence because he has not shied away from speaking out as to his displeasure. And I then warned about the danger of having people who will just tell you, you're doing well. When the obvious is sometimes the contrary. Yes, you can say that in terms of where he's taking Nigeria to, there's a confidence in that. But they need to read the room as well. Look at the protest that just happened. If the people who are the most important, because they are the employers, if I could put it that way, who employed the president by virtue of their votes, are not happy with the way that things are being run, those are the voices you should listen to even more than the Council of State, with all due respect. Because
Dear Nigerian youths, my name is Smart Mado Ajaja. I've been talking to you for years now. Would you take a minute to listen to me? I'm a man of truth. I love Nigeria. I don't live in Nigeria. I have brothers, sisters, friends, and fellow citizens like you who are suffering for no good reasons. Not because our country is poor, but because our country is poorly managed by divisive, elitist elders who have held the country generationally hostage for 54 years. I would think that a moment will come, like it has come in other countries, when the citizens rose up to define their country. Nigerian youths, please listen to me, because your country, your generation, and your future is going through a very rapid evaporation. Our country is under the influence of drugs and all the elitist elders, including former presidents and heads of state, are high in the mischief, in the conspiracy to hold our country in chains, in perpetuity. Your corrupt and selfish elitist elders, political leaders, and your wicked and greedy traditional rulers and religious leaders don't want you to amount to anything, because they and their children now being trained in countries outside the shores of Nigeria to continue to be your lords, that you must continue to serve and worship after your fathers and mothers have served and worshipped them with nothing but extreme poverty, hunger, and starvation as their pensions. They are the ones working with Bola Tinubu and his gang of thieves and killers to repress you and make you robots and slaves that God did not create you to be in your own country. Therefore, I am calling on you to join me and others on the Open Nigeria platform to set the whole of Nigeria and its good people free. How about that? How about that? Fellow countrymen and women, especially those in the younger generation are not driven by any personal ambition. I am driven by love of country. I am driven by a very deep sense of patriotism to deliver series of messages, nearly 1,000 of them, everywhere on our handles on the social media. But you are not listening yet. You are behaving like the African Americans in the time of Bob Marley when he first tried all he could to reach them, because his message at the time was directed at them because of what was happening in the United States at the time. That was when he played this song, I Don't Want to Wait in Vain. It was that triggered what happened and change of events later. Why do I have to wait for you in vain to follow the path of truth and righteousness, to set our country aright and take the country away from the hands of hustlers driven by greed and selfishness and their in-depth hate for Nigeria and its future? Can't you see? You mean you cannot see all this that are happening? That everybody is falling in line to adore and worship a drug dealer and a terrorist holding our country in chains. What is wrong with us that we cannot see how our armed forces have been decimated, how our judiciary have been destroyed, how everything about our country is falling apart? What type of message do you want to hear about how divided our country is? A country that is supposed to be one. They tell us about one Nigeria. In truth and in spirit, is Nigeria one? Are you not seeing the demarcations? Why are we deepening it? Why can't this younger generation, why can't this generation divorce themselves from the ugliness of our past and come together to establish a brand new expandable foundation for a new country? Nigerians, what is wrong with you that you cannot listen? What is going on that you cannot hear anything? Hunger in the land, insecurity in the land. Is that not enough message? Does that not resonate with you that something is very wrong with your country, that will inspire you to get up and stand up for your rights? I thought I shared this with you. Nigeria is under the influence of drugs. Nigeria is under the influence of something that is so sinister that can smoke the country out of existence. If we, the citizens of Nigeria, cannot unite and decide the fate and the future of our country. You have seen everybody is taking turns to go and collect Ghana must go. The traditional rulers have gone. The past presidents and heads of state were there shamelessly yesterday to give a criminal, to give a drug dealer, to give a certificate forger, to give an identity thief, to give a fraudster a vote of confidence. Is that not enough to tell you that something is wrong with Nigeria? Is this how elders behave? I told you the most recent story about Joe Biden and his presidential aspiration in the Democratic Party in the United States here. How the elders, those stakeholders of the country, came together and told him, Joe, step down for the good of our country. Step down for the good of our party. Joe Biden did not have a choice but to step down. Where are those elders in Nigeria who can look at this ugly fool in his face and tell him, get the hell out of that place? Step down. Step down, Bola Tinubu. Get out. You did not win an election. Get the hell out of the space for Nigeria to have a breather. What did we do wrong that we don't have those type of elders? The media is part of the problem. The media will not give access to those who have the boldness and the spine to make this very, very historic statement. Nigeria is messed up. Nigeria is on the way out unless its true patriots from east, west, north, and south comes together and say enough is enough, and then drive the people of Nigeria on a new course to liberation. God save Nigeria.